Yeah. Hey. Oh.
Boom.
Hey, we're live. Look at that.
Back
So,
again.
yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show.
395.
395. 5 more episodes till 400. Johnny, how do you feel?
I don't feel that old.
It's not supposed to age you. It's just,
It does actually age you. I mean, we have aged as the show has gone on.
Yeah, that's true. We have aged.
I look pretty good though.
Yeah, I'm rough. I'm rough these days.
Oh, you have a child, like, sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Hey, and this will be the last show on this set.
Yep. End of an era.
This is the backdrop of the show is going to change very soon. Like next show. This is the last show with this current backdrop. And things are going to get a little bit more elaborate. A little bit more elaborate, Johnny North. As you well know, we have big plans.
I don't really know what you're talking about, but that's fun. Because I get to find out too. What the heck you're talking about?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, you haven't told me. Maybe you thought you told me, but you never told me.
Yeah, well, we have plans to make this show look a little bit more like a pro wrestling show.
Okay.
A little bit more, less just two dudes and more like two dudes doing something. You know what I mean? We're going to have a nicer set, is what I'm talking about.
Cool.
We're going to have a set. It won't just be like us chilling here. It's like the Joe Rogan show. He started, it was just a few dudes on a couch talking. And now he's got a whole big table. It's an elaborate setup. It looks really professional. It's a nice thing.
Cool.
And as we progress and as this show grows, 395 coming up to episode 400, our thing is going to change and look a little bit different as we go on. These video shows are pretty new.
Yes.
So we're going to step them up a little bit, okay? So that's for you guys. We're stepping it up. We're making it look cooler for the Wrestling Uncensored universe. Rob Clue says, "Damn, did I just catch you right at the beginning?" Yeah, pretty much. We just started. We've been on for
Great
like 2 minutes. What's up, Andy? He says, "What's happening, guys?" He says, 395. He remembers number 1. That's right, Andy. And you've been there since the beginning. Antoinette says she's at the beach, so everybody can hear our show. What's up, Toronto Beach? I don't know what beach is in Toronto. I don't know. I'm not that familiar.
Yeah, me neither, no.
I don't know.
Well, thanks for listening.
I hope it's a nice day at the beach out in the 416. Rob Clue says he's disappointed in Joe Rogan after yesterday's guest. I don't know what you're talking about. Who was on Joe Rogan yesterday? What did he do? Woodbine Beach. What's up, Woodbine? I'm familiar with the Woodbine racetrack. Oh, Rob Clue said he had Ted Nugent on the show yesterday. Yeah, Ted Nugent is a little, you'd probably fall in line with a lot of what Ted Nugent thinks, Johnny.
I believe I made a promise, or you made a promise. One of us made a promise not to get too political, because it'll cause a lot of problems. So, I believe I agreed at least to not get too political.
Yeah, we're trying not to be too political on the show. We do it on Twitter sometimes. And on Instagram, which, by the way, you can now follow me on Instagram at DaveSimonMMA. I'm on there. I've set up the Instagram account, and I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to give away that Raw book that we have.
The
25th anniversary Raw book. My first 100 Instagram followers. So I'm going to get it up to 100. That won't take so long. So the first 100 Instagram followers, I'm going to draw at random, and I'll send you the book.
That's cool.
How about that? So it's to launch the Instagram. We're doing a giveaway.
You did say Twitter, but, it's fine. You can change it.
I said Instagram.
Originally you said Twitter, but that's fine. You changed it up. You're the man. You can do what you want.
Originally I said I was going to give it away on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I changed my mind.
Yeah. Change the game.
I can do that. I'm in charge. Okay? Giving it away on Instagram. So follow me at DaveSimonMMA. After I get 100 followers, I'll pick one at random and I'll send it to you. I'll like DM you or something. I don't know how it works in Instagram, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, you'll figure it out.
I'll figure. Well, you're gonna help me, okay? Man, a lot of comments here on the YouTube. Keep your comments coming. I see Antoinette. I see Wally. I see Andy. I see Rob. I see Sasha.
Yeah.
I saw Andy's. He's got us on while he's getting his hair cut. He says the entire place is tuned in. So we're on like a barbershop somewhere in England.
That's awesome.
Which I think is pretty cool. What's up, London? I guess Andy's in London usually. See me rocking this new France jersey that Johnny North got me. The new France official World Cup jersey because France is about to smash Argentina tomorrow morning. Destruction time. Messi's going to go home crying tomorrow. I can't wait to see his crying face when France advances to the final 8 in the World Cup. Thanks for the jersey, Johnny. Very nice gift. Johnny got me the large. It was like large, slim fit, too small. This is the extra large, standard fit. It's like really nice and roomy. It's perfect. Breathable on this hot day. Lovely.
You're welcome. Good luck, though, tomorrow, because it's not going to be easy.
Rob Clue says I should have gotten the rugby jersey. Much better. Yo, send me the rugby jersey. Somebody out there buy me the rugby jersey. What's the rugby jersey? There's a nice France rugby jersey. I want it. I'm in. Where can I get that? Rob, tell me where to get it. Send me a link. Send me a link on Twitter. For real. Send me a link to where to buy this rugby jersey, this France rugby jersey. I'll buy it. I'm into it.
Given the
I love rugby. I played rugby in high school. Rugby's awesome.
You're watching the World Cup right now. It makes sense.
What?
Wear the soccer jersey.
Yeah, for sure. Add to my collection of France World Cup soccer jerseys. I have several.
I only saw 2006. Really? Wow.
I have 06 and I have 2010 as well.
Wow. I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah. I didn't get it in, I guess, 2014. But here we are, 2018. Allez les Bleus. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
It should be fun. I look forward to it.
Big game tomorrow. Big game. Antoinette says she loves the jersey and, of course, Johnny's muscle shirt.
Yeah.
Looking jacked, brother.
Muscle. Violence. Why always the violence?
What, you can't take a little chop? A little chopperoo? What's your problem?
It's a bad example for your son.
That was so
He
light.
just turned 1, by the way.
I was working there, brother. You don't want to see me stiff ski.
Are you gonna do that to your son? I don't think so.
Well, you're much bigger. You can take a little stiffer shot.
Bad example, my friend. Come on. There you go. That's a bit nicer, but still.
Not as.
Let's get some space.
It's got a
here.
pop. Oh yeah, I left a little mark on you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh my god. Why are you so
Appreciate
pale?
it.
Why are you so pale?
I'm actually kind of tanned, actually.
Nah, you're not tanned enough. You
Not
should be more
tanned.
tan. For a wrestler, you're pretty pale, brother.
More tan than you.
Mike says maybe I should take a chop from Johnny. You want to give me a little arm chop? You want to give me a little
Nah,
revenge?
you don't want that.
You want to get just a little one. As hard as I gave you, it was nothing. You can give it to me. It's okay.
See, this is the problem where
He doesn't want it.
We differ. What's hard and what's not hard. Then there's issues after the fact.
Oh my god, here we go.
Yeah, it's just not working.
We don't want to start like a fight on YouTube. That'd be bad, eh?
It would be rough.
Huh?
It'd be very rough.
Huh?
Bad example. Bad example.
Yeah, but we all know what would happen. I'm not sure what would happen. I have a vague idea. I think it would be rough for both of us. I think it would end terribly. If Johnny and I fought, we'd both be in big trouble at the end of it. We'd be, I don't know what would happen. I mean, you're a big guy, but I've got skills that Johnny doesn't have. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy and Johnny is not. So
The thing is,
I do real fighting. Johnny does, that fake stuff. I'm kidding.
I've said it before, and I'll definitely say it again, especially on the actual show. You're not the total package.
Lex Luger?
Exactly.
I'm not Lex Luger.
You're not.
I don't want to be Lex Luger.
You got to key that in. That's a
See
fact.
that? I like hid my knee. You're showing a lot of knee here on the show. Notice that?
I did my legs.
It's like a bit. What do you mean you did your legs? Oh, you worked out your legs?
Yeah.
Andy wants to see chops on the chest, and he wants to see an arm wrestling match.
I love that Andy loves violence. That's why Andy's awesome.
And he also says the World Cup is coming home. Come on, England.
It might. England's actually playing very well.
And they have kind of like an easy path to the finals, from what I understand.
Because they didn't win the last game, yeah, so they don't have to play Brazil right away. They're smart.
I doubt it, though. I doubt it. Antoinette says AJ needs a chop from Johnny. Antoinette just throwing AJ out there. Anthony D'Alessio. By the way, Ringside Report Radio tonight, live on TSN 690. I'll be on with Anthony and Freddie, and we're going to have James Mancini, who's about to fight for the TKO Flyweight Championship. James is going to be in studio with us for the whole hour, so that'll be fun.
You've had him before, no?
Yeah, he's been on the phone, but he hasn't been in studio with us. Hopefully Anthony doesn't say anything or do anything too crazy.
Given the last couple episodes, it's going to be ridiculous. But that's fun. It's fun to listen to.
Antoinette asked, is that a 316 cup? Yes, it is an Austin 316 Stone Cold coffee mug. Andy says, what you going to do when Dave O'Mania runs wild on you? Yeah, what are you going to do? Brother! What you going to do, brother? And Wally says, serious knees on Johnny North. Rob says he just saw the UFC card for next week. It's great. Yes, it is great. UFC 226 is next week. Stipe Miocic taking on Daniel Cormier in the main event. There's a lot of rumors that Brock Lesnar is going to challenge the winner of that, which is kind of crazy. We're going to talk about Brock Lesnar.
He's supposed to be in attendance, no? Has he been invited?
Apparently. But the UFC 226 card is really solid. Max Holloway against Brian Ortega for the Featherweight Championship in the co-main event. Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis. Michael Chiesa and Anthony Pettis. And Gokhan Saki and Khalil Roundtree. So it's a sick pay-per-view. The only problem with next week is New Japan is doing the G1 special in San Francisco live, 8 p.m. Eastern, on the same day as UFC 226. I thought it was a Sunday. Turns out it's Saturday. So I guess I'm going to be watching New Japan from like 8 till 10-ish, and then I'll flip over to the UFC pay-per-view at 10. I'm looking at the UFC 226 prelims, and there's nothing that I really need to see live. Paul Felder and Mike Perry is kind of cool, but that's going to air at like 6 p.m., so that's way before New Japan even starts. But the 8 p.m. TV prelim card, nothing that I'm that excited about. Uriah Hall, Paulo Costa, whatever. I'm going to be watching New Japan between 8 and 10, and hopefully New Japan ends soon. Like, I don't want it to end too far past 10, because I'm trying to watch the UFC pay-per-view, so I don't know what to do here, man. What do I do? Watch New Japan? Watch the UFC pay-per-view? I mean, I think I'm going to start watching the pay-per-view at 10 p.m., but there's a lot to watch next Saturday night. That New Japan special is going to be amazing. Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes in the main event for the championship. Jay White, Juice Robinson, Hiromu Dragon Lee, Will Ospreay and Okada taking on Bushi and Naito. The Young Bucks defending the tag titles against Sanada and Evil. Hiroki Goto taking on Jeff Cobb for the Never Openweight title. Kushida and Tanahashi against Marty Scurll and Hangman Page. Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii against Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. And then you've got Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo, Rocky Romero, Gato, and Yoshihashi in a 10-man tag against Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, Tangaloa, Tama Tonga, and the father of Tangaloa and Tama Tonga, King Haku, a.k.a. Ming. Yes, that King Haku, that Ming, on this card. In a 10-man tag. That's the G1 special in San Francisco, California. New Japan invading the United States, Saturday night, July 7th, 8 p.m. start, Eastern, on njpwworld.com.
Cool.
What more can you ask for?
The thing is, don't you have like a post show for UFC after it's over?
Yeah.
So shouldn't you really just watch UFC and then watch New Japan the next day? Because you don't have to cover New Japan the same day.
Solid point.
I don't know, like, isn't Anthony going to be here too? Like,
Yeah. Anthony will probably be not here, but there.
okay, so
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but he's going to be with you.
Probably, yeah. I have to talk to AJ about that, but yeah, I would say so.
I mean, you could watch New Japan with him, but it might be a little ridiculous doing that.
We'll see what happens.
Try to keep him focused. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck trying to keep AJ focused. Where is AJ? How come he's not watching on his bike right now?
Yeah, it's probably better that he isn't, actually.
Uh, Wally says UFC 226 deserves a ringside report pre-show. Maybe we will do a pre-show before UFC 226. I don't know. It's not a bad idea.
Is it
And post-show. Yeah, we're definitely doing a post-show. We do post-shows now for every big UFC pay-per-view, and this is a big UFC pay-per-view. Any big UFC pay-per-view that's happening, you can pretty much expect AJ and I to do a post-show here on YouTube Live. Don't expect Fred to ever show up, though. Just don't expect that to happen.
Wow, ever's a long time.
Ever?
Yeah, you just said ever. He's never going to show up.
Well, I would say it's highly unlikely. Fred does not like to stay up that late. Fred is a very early riser.
Okay, and yet he does the show at midnight. It's interesting.
He makes an exception.
Okay. I just find Ringside Report...
We love you, Freddie.
Yeah, Fred's awesome.
Fred's the man.
I just find Ringside Report, that's a great pre-show right there. That kind of gets you hyped up for UFC. I mean, you're just kind of repeating yourself if you do another pre-show.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. We are going to be on like the night before UFC 226. That is kind of the pre-show.
Sorry, Wally, but...
Sorry, Wally. Johnny just killed an extra show for you. It's not happening.
Shut you down.
Shut you down, Wally. Antoinette says, no Brock, please give up that title, just tired of the lame story. I could see him dropping in at SummerSlam. Wally says, watch New Japan after UFC. That makes sense. Although, if I do that, I'll be up to like 5 or 6 in the morning. And I know you guys are accustomed to doing that out in Ireland to watch these shows, but I'm not used to that. I'm sensitive. I don't know if I can stay up that late. It's a bit much.
Did you guys end up doing that too? Like, weren't you supposed to stay up for the UFC in like Singapore, I think?
No, we weren't supposed to. AJ said he was going to, and Fred and I both said we were not going to.
Okay.
Nobody was supposed to do anything.
Just gotta say that was really intense if you guys did that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And I don't think AJ did that either. He was just talking trash. That's all AJ does. Talks a lot of trash, says a lot of things, means half of it, doesn't really mean anything.
Well, when it comes to meaning something...
You can't get him to answer a question. You never get a straight answer out of the guy. I swear, Fred and I, we joke about it. We could do a whole show, ask AJ a question at the beginning, and just go the whole show waiting for the answer. And watch AJ dance around the question. And it doesn't even have to be a tough question. You know, a simple question. AJ, what time is it? Okay. Well, first I got to tell you, and then it's a whole story. You'll never get a straight answer out of him. By the time you ask him, by the time he tells you what time it is, it's an hour too late. You know what I'm saying? AJ put out a tweet half an hour later. Okay, the tweet is up. What do you mean the tweet is up? He's unbelievable. He's the best. He's the best guy. It's crazy.
Sounds like he could be a good politician one day.
Yeah, he would make a great prime minister. AJ for prime minister, AJ for president. President AJ. President of all the Americas.
President of Canada, right?
President of everything. AJ. I'm moving to Europe. I'm going to Ireland with Wally. Rob says, did someone finally bust AJ out of the pokey? AJ didn't actually go to jail for that bicycling incident, although maybe he should have.
Got a warning. Lucky. Very lucky.
Antoinette says she hears Brock won't be at SummerSlam because they want the title to go with him to the UFC. Rob says this whole Brock situation has been mismanaged, to say the least. I agree.
Isn't it true, though, that if Brock doesn't re-enter, like, the pool for testing, like, that he won't be able to fight this year? For USADA? Like, he has to re-enter the drug testing, like, today. And if he doesn't, there's no fight. It's not possible for this year.
Yeah, I don't see how he can fight this year. Because, just like you said, he needs to finish serving his suspension, and that suspension isn't up.
So
I don't get it. Unless the UFC just bypasses their own rules and finds a loophole that we're all unaware of, which is possible because it's not like anybody is imposing USADA on the UFC. UFC imposes these rules on themselves. So if they have a way to bypass them, they might do it. They've done it before with Brock. He was supposed to do all this testing leading into his fight. Like, there was supposed to be something in place where a fighter was supposed to be in the testing pool for like 3 months before fighting for the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an exception where it was like, unless it's like a last minute thing.
Okay.
And so the UFC claimed it was a last minute thing with Brock, so he didn't have to do the 3 months of testing prior to the event. But there is some evidence pointing to the fact that maybe that's not true. Maybe they had been preparing for this for longer than what they said. And that's part of the basis for Mark Hunt's lawsuit against the UFC. Mark Hunt is the guy that wound up fighting Brock. And then later we found out that Brock failed a pre-fight drug test. So Mark Hunt is alleging that the UFC knew he was going to fail, and that's why they decided to forego the 3 months testing prior to the fight.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So you never know what they might do, is what I'm saying. There's fishy things that they can do if they need to. So just because we all think one thing doesn't mean it's a fact 100%. The UFC, I'm sure, has a lot of rules written in that we're not aware of. It's a private company. Just the way it is. Sasha says the internet guy is ruining my pre-show experience. What does that mean?
Internet guy.
Internet guy? What internet guy? Like the guy is coming to fix your internet and he's ruining the show for you? Sasha says, how does it look if he goes to the UFC with the belt and gets absolutely squashed? Looks bad on the WWE. I agree. Rob says, Antoinette, you're just bitter because he's constantly been your pretty boy's nemesis. Roman. Yeah, Antoinette's a big Roman fan, and she doesn't like Brock, so.
Wow, like, I love when other people are talking trash to each other on the chat.
Yeah, they're talking trash to each other on the YouTube chat, which I appreciate. I like you guys going back and forth. Sasha says he switched his internet provider and he missed the beginning. Okay, well, you can go back when it's all done. It'll be uploaded, and you can check out what you missed. A lot of comments here on the YouTube. No interest in Slammiversary road trip, Rob says. Not really.
Well, they announced the main event. It's going to be Moose against Austin Aries. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
I'm not traveling for that. Moose and Austin Aries.
I'm sure it won't be a bad match, but I'm not traveling 6 hours for that match.
How is that a main event?
Well, they built up Moose, if you've been watching.
With the talent that they have in professional wrestling today, that's not a main event that I can pay to see. There's no, like, alright, whatever. I'm over it. Wally says Moose is a beast. He is, but, like, is he that over?
I'm just not expecting, like, an epic match with Austin Aries. If it was Kenny Omega, that's kind of like you have to go see that.
But who's talking about Moose right now? Like, you hear about guys, you hear about buzz in the wrestling business. There's no buzz for Moose.
He's not a bad wrestler, though.
No,
He's
but
impressed with the watch.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to create buzz. You got to be somebody that people want to pay to see right now. People want to pay to see Cody Rhodes, you know? People pay to see Rob Van Dam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta be a draw. And Moose and Austin Aries, like, as good as they are, they're solid talents, but they're not a main event for a big show that I'm willing to go and travel for. That's not something that anybody's gonna go travel for. If you live in Toronto, you might check it out. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. I mean, they're good, but they're not, like, they're not something that people are going to go travel from around the world to see. It's just a fact.
Well, card is also not complete yet, so there might be some surprises, and that might change the outlook on this.
We'll see. I hope so.
I think it's after Extreme Rules. I think it's the 22nd of July, Slammiversary. So there's still time.
Well, I'll try and watch it, but maybe not. I'll probably only watch something on that card if it creates a buzz. Like I'll watch it afterwards. If there's anything on that card that makes noise in the wrestling world, I'll check it out. Other than that, I probably won't see it.
I understand. Yeah,
And
makes
you're
sense.
probably the same too.
Yeah, but I have hopes that maybe they can turn it around. I just don't like this. They book a bunch of scramble matches all the time. Like that's fun to see a bunch of good wrestlers, but it's just a mess. Those kind of matches.
Wally says Moose is popular in Ireland for some reason. And Rob says they're jumping the shark with Moose. He's still a little green too. He says Cage and Tessa Blanchard are the most buzzworthy over there.
Agreed.
He says for a company on its seventh reboot, they are quite improved. And yeah, I mean, they're trying, but like he's saying, seventh reboot, how many times are we going to see, oh, it's a brand new day in Impact Wrestling? I feel like at this point, no matter how good it is, the brand has been tarnished so much that it's hard to bring it out of the gutter.
It's difficult.
It's going to take a lot to bring it back. It's like, you know how much Bill Cosby would have to do to get back into the good graces of America? You know what I'm saying? TNA is kind of in that place where it's like, man, we do not want to hear from you. We have we want nothing from you. We want you to go away. TNA is the Bill Cosby of wrestling companies. It's just like, man, at one point we liked you, but you've done so much now that we can't ever look at you the same way. We can't ever accept you back into our lives. Well, I would say that's not true for TNA. That's a bit much. That's a bit much because TNA could do something where it would be like, okay, it's cool again, TNA, we'll watch you. Bill Cosby could not. Like, Cosby, right? I mean, he's done. Done. He should be in jail. TNA should not be in jail. Maybe wrestling jail for a little bit for all the infractions that they've committed. Sorry, did I go too far there, John?
You state your opinion. It's fine. It's good.
I'm just saying, people don't have fond feelings of TNA right now. Rob says, wow, you're comparing Impact to an alleged rapist.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that he just did right
there. Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying, I'm saying he's persona non grata, People don't want to see Bill Cosby, just like people don't want to see Impact Wrestling. At one point they did want to see Cosby, at one point we did like Impact Wrestling, but now it's like, nah. Rob says he could see you having trouble keeping a straight face there, Johnny. It does look like you're trying to say something, but you're just not. You want to let me kind of dig myself deeper into this whole Cosby thing. You don't want to help me out. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. It's okay. I get it.
This doesn't need to get more ridiculous than it already has.
Well, what do you have for the pre-show, damn it? Is this pre-show over? Have we ended the pre-show? I talked about France. I talked about Messi getting destroyed.
Well, I really enjoyed What's Fandom in Japan. I watched all the episodes, and that was just a great listen.
Wow.
Amazing. I have to say, though, the first episode is the best one.
See, Phantom and I both thought the first episode was the worst one, and we were getting progressively better.
Because I thought the first one is the longest one.
Yeah, but it was mostly about Green Phantom.
But I think you need that, because What's Phantom is part of it. It's part of the show. It's part of the name.
Yeah, for sure. And his career is going to come up and stuff, but the first show is kind of an introduction. If you don't know Green Phantom, this is who he is.
That's why I thought the first was so good. Plus, there's so much to it. Where the other, like the second one, it felt kind of rushed. The second one, I don't know if you guys were under some sort of time restriction.
Well, he said at the third one he was hungover. I think
that may have done with the quality of the performance, but it felt like you guys were rushed. The third one was great too, no problem. It's just the first one. There's just so much to it, and I just loved Phantom's take on just pro wrestling in general. It was just an amazing listen to.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago we recorded that.
It was like before WrestleMania. The week before WrestleMania, you guys did it.
Wow. So what was he saying? They were so.
Just the way he looks at wrestling and the way guys are, and like what he likes and doesn't like in wrestling, and how some people are pieces of garbage in wrestling, and how he's experienced that. It's a great listen. Amazing. I'm very envious listening to that show. I'm like, wow, I wish our show could be like that.
What do you mean?
Like, I find, like, because you guys are, like, monthly, bi-monthly, it feels a lot more special. Where we're weekly, twice a week, with 2 shows, it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same impact. That's a great pun, by the way.
Well, that's too bad, John. You want to step away from the show?
No. I love what we do. But, you know, you guys have that. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different show. And that's why we're doing it that way, to make it different. Because if I did another weekly wrestling show, I don't really have the time to do that. It would be a little crazy for me. And, you know, who needs another weekly wrestling show featuring me? Who am I? Conrad Thompson doing like 85 podcasts every week? I don't think so. I don't have time for that. I really don't understand how he has time for that. Isn't he supposed to be a mortgage guy? You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Ric Flair's son-in-law? You know, he's the guy that does the Bruce Pritchard podcast.
Oh, does he? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about? He's getting married to Ric Flair's daughter. That's why he has all the inside, you know? Everybody's like, how does... It's Ric Flair's daughter-in-law. Son-in-law, whatever. Wally says episode 3 was his favorite. Thank you, Wally. Episode 3 was my favorite, too. Rob says he knows Phantom from rugby years ago, but Phantom likely wouldn't remember him. Well, that's too bad, Rob. Sasha says, I rather weekly, to be honest. Routine is nice. Yeah, I think a weekly show makes sense. For Wrestling Uncensored, for this, the original show, it makes sense.
Oh, of course. But it's just really cool to listen to something like that, and you only get it once in a while. It's really special.
Wally says he can actually lip sync along to episode 1 of Phantom in Japan. He's heard it so many times.
Wow.
Listen over and over again. He knows it by heart. That's amazing, Wally. Thank you for the dedication. Antoinette wants to know our thoughts on Brian and Team Hell No reunited. Should we give it to them now, or should we wait for Wrestling Uncensored? I don't know, Antoinette. You might have to wait for Wrestling Uncensored to get my full thoughts on that. I'll give you a little tease. I think it's alright.
I felt like I was going to tweet, like, this would be great if this happened. Did I tweet that? I can't remember.
I know you're really excited because you're like the biggest Kane fan ever, so you're hyped.
Oh, I love the team, obviously, when they first came together.
They're a great team. This will probably be their last run. And I think it's to help Kane be a bigger babyface as the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Because there's no bigger babyface right now than Daniel Bryan. So it's like real classic old school wrestling stuff, brother. You know, make me a big babyface on the way out so that my outside career could be helped by this. It's a little rub from Daniel Bryan. Antoinette wants our thoughts on the whole Team Hell No thing now. I think that's, you just got it. That's all you get. Wrestling Uncensored will go a little bit more in depth on that. On the main show, right?
Yeah, I can't give you everything.
Can't give you everything. Antoinette wants to see Johnny North versus Kane. I would not mind seeing that either. I'm sure you would love that.
I wouldn't mind it, but I'm sure it would be a squash. Not in my favor, unfortunately.
Wally says, where you at, AJ? Yeah, where is AJ?
Popular.
Sasha says, Ciampa versus Black for the NXT title. Does Gargano interfere, leading to match number 3 at TakeOver? Oh, man, really, eh? Ciampa versus Gargano again? Yeah, maybe. Ciampa versus Black for the title. Like, we didn't really talk about that NXT TakeOver show. I thought it was really good. Ciampa and Gargano had a great match. You still haven't seen it, right?
I saw bits and pieces of Sullivan and, what's his
Black.
name? Black, yeah.
It was alright.
Very stiff.
My favorite was Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. I think those two guys are fantastic, and I think they're my two favorite guys in all of NXT. Velveteen Dream is great. Ricochet is great. I'm trying to think of the roster right now. I think those are my two top guys in the whole NXT brand. Ricochet being number one. He's my favorite guy there. For sure. How could he not be?
I like EC3, but besides the ladder match, I can't think of anything that he's really done.
He wasn't on the last takeover.
I think he did a promo, didn't he, or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, Ciampa and Gargano are good, but Gargano, like, he's very good, and I like him and everything, but there's something about his look. Maybe he's, like, too small or something, but it...
NXT, come on, Adam Cole, like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm all for smaller wrestlers, and that's cool, but some of these guys seem too small. Like, it's not believable, you know?
Right. I understand that.
Some guys are really small, and it's still believable, but some guys, certain things they do, it's like, man, I don't really believe that, you know? I like Gargano. I think he's a very good wrestler. He does some amazing things in the ring, but there's some moments where I don't fully believe him, like, on offense.
Right. No, I understand. Because
You
he
know?
wrestles like a big man style, and it's like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Ciampa, though. I think Ciampa's really good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I believe in him. I think Ciampa's, like, way better than Gargano. Am I in the minority in believing that? I don't know.
I don't disagree.
I feel like Gargano has a lot of fans, and I don't want to upset anybody. You know, I think Gargano's really good, but I think Ciampa's, like, way better. I like Ciampa a lot. I think Ciampa's ready for the main roster. He'd be excellent.
I think it helps Johnny that he has, like, a chant that's over.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Velveteen Dream's amazing, though. That guy is fantastic.
Talent as well. Better persona than a wrestler, I find, but that's coming in time, though, too.
Robert wants to know if we saw the crazy Roderick Strong flying knee this week. No, I didn't.
I didn't. All I think about Roderick Strong is all those backbreakers, which are amazing, by the way.
Yeah, he's very good, too. He says Ricochet is in a class on his own. I agree. Ricochet is number one. He's number one in NXT. He's more than ready for the main roster. He's been ready for the WWE for years now. He was one of the top workers outside of the WWE for a long time.
Well, Lucha Underground, he was like the main guy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I know Johnny Nitro was there, John Morrison, but Ricochet, just a league of his own.
Amazing athlete, this guy. I can't wait to see him on the main roster. Rob says the tag team angle keeps Daniel Bryan out of the main event until contract situation is worked out. Is Daniel Bryan working on a new contract for the WWE? Is he working without like a long-term deal? I guess he is, right? I guess his contract is not, like, he doesn't have a new deal because his contract was coming up in like October, right? That's what he was saying.
Right.
Like September, October. So maybe Bryan's working without a contract and that's why they don't want him rushed to the main event. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I think Bryan is going to stick around in WWE.
I don't know, because we're already getting him and The Miz kind of teased already. I thought we're going to wait to WrestleMania. Maybe they realize they got to do it at SummerSlam because there might not be an opportunity at WrestleMania because he won't be there.
I think he will be, though. I think he wants to re-sign with WWE. He's so entrenched in the WWE life and the family of the WWE. You know, the Bella Twins, their reality show. You know, that's WWE produced. You have Johnny Ace as his father-in-law. John Cena is like his brother-in-law. Come on, man.
Well, I finished watching Jericho versus Naito.
You watched it.
I watched the whole match.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And just as someone who loves wrestling, someone who wants to wrestle the best, if I'm Daniel Bryan, that's the place to be. Because WWE, they aren't producing stuff like that. So I could get why Daniel Bryan would want to leave because he wants to wrestle the best.
If you're working for the craft of it and you want to have the best possible matches, New Japan is where to be. That's why Kenny Omega's still in New Japan and not going to the WWE, because, you know, if you want to make tons of money and be a big American wrestling star, WWE is where to go. But if you want to make, you know, very good money and be a big star in Japan and have great matches and have creative freedom, New Japan is where you want to be.
Without question. It's fantastic. It's on another level compared to WWE in terms of wrestling. Because you could just tell by Jericho what he was doing. Like, he didn't have to worry about someone saying something like, oh, you can't do this, can't do that. He was going all over the place. It was amazing.
The match was great. You watched it. I'm very happy you watched it. Did you watch Okada and Omega?
No, I haven't. That's like an hour long. Like, yeah, that's not yet.
Over an hour.
It's long.
It's very good.
I'll get to it.
So you only watched Jericho Naito from that show?
I did. That was like...
You didn't watch the Bucks of Youth against Sonata and Evil?
Not yet.
You gotta watch that. That was really good. The Young Bucks are amazing. Best tag team in wrestling.
That's one downfall of New Japan. The shows are very long. I'm not a fan of marathon WWE shows. I'm not a fan of just marathon shows in general.
Yeah, but they're better than the WWE shows. Like, they're as long, probably shorter than WWE shows right now. They're pay-per-views anyways.
Okay.
And they're better. Wally wants to know who your favorite is in New Japan and who my favorite is in New Japan. Who we like the best. That's very tough. I think there's so much talent in New Japan. It's tough to narrow it down to one guy. Obviously, I'm a big Minoru Suzuki fan. I think he's amazing. I think I get excited for Suzuki matches the most. But he's been kind of downgraded lately. Out of a singles push more into tag team matches, which is disappointing. I'm a big Naito fan. I think Naito is incredible. Will Ospreay, big fan of Will Ospreay. Kenny Omega, obviously. It's really hard to narrow it down to one guy. Okada is incredible. There's so much talent in New Japan. It's hard for me to say who is number one. Who is Ichiban? It's really tough. I don't know. I really I couldn't narrow it down to one guy. I mean, if I had to, I'd say Kenny Omega. Just because of how hot he is as a performer right now. But if you ask me tomorrow, I'd probably say Minoru Suzuki. If you ask me the next day, I might say Marty Scurll. There's so much talent in New Japan, it's hard to narrow it down to just one guy. I'm a big fan of Ishii. I think he's amazing. The Stone Pitbull. He's just so great. Big, tough, Japanese dude, takes a vicious beating. His match with Michael Elgin in the New Japan Cup was incredible. Kota Ibushi is just amazing. There's so many talented guys in New Japan. I can't narrow it down to one.
Well, listening to the podcast with Phantom.
He likes Hangman Page.
I was going to say that, yes. For me, because I'm limited, I go with Naito. Because obviously I just saw him. That match with Jericho, wow. Incredible. The way, not only did he take a beating, but came back and gave a beating. Fantastic.
He's got quite a style, eh?
Well, and also with Suzuki, I saw bits and pieces of his match with Suzuki. Oof. So rough. And he takes it. It's phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, you look at him and you think, oh, can he really take all that? And he can. He is incredibly tough. He's tougher than he appears, Naito.
Well, when his eye was bleeding, I think his cheek was bleeding, it looked like.
Yeah, Jericho busted him open hard way in 2 places.
It was incredible. Incredible match.
Yeah. But as Rob Kloos over here saying on the YouTube, he says Omega Okada was maybe the greatest match of all time.
I know you guys.
So you have to see it.
You guys hyped. You guys said it was better than Brett and Sean.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you heard that on What's Phantom in Japan. Phantom and I both agreed better than Brett and Sean's Iron Man match, which says a lot.
So you put the expectations very high now. You just have to realize that when I watch it now, I'm expecting something that's going to be possibly the best match I've ever seen.
Well, get ready.
I will.
Get ready. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Good.
Rob Clue says Minoru is legit, pulls off the crazy old man gimmick expertly. I agree. He is a crazy, scary, older gentleman. I think he's 50. He's 50. right?
He's unbelievable.
He, for a 50-year-old guy, is ridiculous. For a 30-year-old guy, he'd be ridiculous. You know,
He's like the Japanese version of Terry Funk.
solid comparison. Antoinette says, I need to work for New Japan. Good promotion. I don't know if I need to work for New Japan. Honestly, I think they're doing everything correctly. I don't know what I would add to that company. Obviously, I've got ideas. But I don't know. I tell you what I would do first and foremost for New Japan. I would make their shop, their online shop where you can buy stuff, uh, like accessible to North America. I'd have an English version. You know, I wanted to buy a Suzuki-gun shirt, but it's like I gotta get a Tenso account. It's very complicated to ship from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, I don't know. Rob Clue says Skrull Hurricane is happening in Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm thinking about signing up to Ring of Honor's online service because they have great stuff there. Rob says Suzuki is 50 years old on the dot. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wally says, Johnny, are you going to see...
Good.
So you're going to go see it?
Yeah, more like it's pretty cool. This one. I think it's how it all started.
Antoinette says, what does WWE need to do to be more enjoyable like New Japan? I don't necessarily think they have to be more like New Japan. I don't think that their schedule or their wrestling style really allows for it because it's a different style in Japan. It's a stiffer, rougher style. Always has been, always will be, right? It's just rougher in Japan than it is in North America. It's just a fact. It's always been like that.
Something Phantom brings up too on your podcast. It's extreme wrestling. Even if they're not using weapons, it's still very extreme just in terms of the striking.
So I don't know what the WWE like. I don't think they need to shift more in that style. I just think they need to use their talent better. I think they need to limit giving promos to people that can't cut promos. I think they need to stop pushing people that aren't over. I mean, it's very simple. The WWE, to fix their problems, they don't have to do much. They just have to say, okay, less of this guy, more of this guy. It's not hard. Less Roman, more Kevin Owens. Less, Elias, more Braun Strowman. They just need to go with the talent. That's all they really need to do.
I think it's easier said than done. Because now we're in the PG era, so it's difficult just to change everything. Because we want violence, and they can't give us violence all the time.
They can give us wrestling, though. They can give us skill and technique. They can give us what Daniel Bryan does. They can give us what AJ Styles does. They can give us what Nakamura does, They can give us high-level wrestling. They can do that. They don't have to give us huge bumps and stiff shots and stuff like that, but they can give us a higher level of wrestling than they have been. They could not ever have a guy like Jinder Mahal beat a guy like Chad Gable, for example. If they pushed a guy like Chad Gable, who has actual wrestling talent, if you let him ply his craft and entertain the fans, instead of pushing a jacked up jabroni like Jinder Mahal, you'd have a better product. It's very simple. It's very simple. Jinder Mahal is part of the problem. Baron Corbin is part of the problem. These guys who aren't good wrestlers wrestle too much on TV. It's not rocket science, dude. It's professional wrestling. So I don't think New Japan needs to hire me. I think the WWE needs to hire me. I could help a lot. A lot. And it's not even just about pushing guys. It's about the way you push guys. Roman could be over right now if they hadn't taken so many missteps on this journey. Jinder will never work. I mean, it worked for a time, but like, come on, everybody was sick of it by the end. Everybody's like, all right, let's move on.
Well, really, you've gotten the best you can out of him. Really, like he's reached his full potential, in my opinion. What's wrong with that?
Who's reached his full potential?
Gender. He became WWE
Yeah,
champion.
yeah, and that's it.
That's
But
it.
like,
Yeah.
they're still pushing him. He's still getting wins over Chad Gable.
He's still like
But like,
relevant.
come on, man.
That's it.
But that's just a fundamental point, though. Is that like a guy like Jinder should have never been WWE champion. He should never be in the conversation. He can't cut the mustard. He's not good enough at wrestling. He's just not. It's time to promote guys that are good at wrestling and demote guys that aren't so good at wrestling. It's not hard. When you see Daniel Bryan, when you see AJ Styles, when you see Kevin Owens, they have something in the ring. They're good wrestlers. You put them in any company, in any promotion around the world, they're going to get over. You put Roman or Jinder in any company, in any promotion around the world, and depends how the promoter pushes them, they might not get over. Because in the ring, they can't cut the mustard. They can't hang. They're not that good. It's very simple. Just push guys that are good and don't push guys that are not good.
That's tough though because looking back on it, Jinder got great heat. He still does get great heat, and you need that for your heel champions. A lot of them, like Kevin, like he gets mixed reactions.
If everybody was good, the heels would be heels.
I think Jinder is definitely, without question, heel. Kevin, he's kind of in between. Samoa Joe, in between.
You know why that is? Because wrestling fans cheer them because they're good wrestlers. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
Right.
They're both good wrestlers. But in NXT, there's more of a focus on good wrestling. So when you're a good wrestler, that doesn't mean that you get cheered automatically. A segment of the NXT universe isn't going to cheer you just because you're a good wrestler, because everybody's expected to be a good wrestler. When you're a bad wrestler, that's when they boo you really hard and they don't even want to see you. But they're going to boo Tommaso Ciampa for the evil things that he does because he's a good heel. And when everybody's a good wrestler, when you're on an even playing field, when everybody's like solid, you know, like when AJ Styles wrestles Samoa Joe is going to get booed. Because AJ Styles is a babyface. Well, maybe not, because AJ Styles has not been working as a babyface, and these promos are just awful, because they write terrible promos for AJ Styles. They make him go out there and cut these bad promos that don't do him any favors. The writing hurts the characters. You know, the WWE can't stick to a heel or babyface. And the fact that wrestling fans will always cheer good wrestlers in the absence of good wrestling, that hurts a lot of the good wrestlers that try to be heels. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I see if there's one Kevin Owens and he's the best wrestler in the company, and he's doing terrible things, he's really evil, but everybody else wrestles like Randy Orton, well, I'm going to cheer for Kevin Owens. It's just the way it works. That's how the WWE is. And if everybody was a good wrestler, it would change. If you look at New Japan, there are heels, there are baby faces. People, you know, Okada was a really good heel. People were booing Okada. I mean, there are Okada fans as well, but it's kind of different in Japan. It's hard to compare, but they could do it in the WWE. They could get these guys over the way they want to. They just can't. They just don't.
Well, they have their way, and this is the way they want it, their way. And if you go against it, too bad. They're still going to do it their way, and that's created a problem. Because Roman Reigns should be the heel, but he's not.
Yeah, see, the whole idea of Roman Reigns should be the heel, I'm not even operating on that playing field, man. I'm saying Roman Reigns shouldn't even be in the discussion.
Now he's too over. Like, regardless what you think about Roman Reigns,
He's only over
reactions,
because of the way he's been promoted. But I'm saying I would have never even promoted him to the extent that they have.
he's still a good talent. You can't deny he could take a very good beating. And the fact that he can just stand there and people
Compare him to
boo,
Naito.
he's bigger. When he comes out, it's like, wow, Roman, like,
When Naito comes out,
when Naito comes out, I'd be worried. I'd like, watch out for your back. But when Roman comes out, it's like, give him space because he's gonna come out there and probably spear you. Naito, like, he's kind of sneaky, but Naito got
I'm
jumped
saying
last.
talent-wise, I mean, come on, the matches that Roman puts on. Antoinette says he works just as hard as everyone else. Does he though?
I think in some cases he probably works harder than other people. Yeah, he's dead. It's fine.
I can't even do this. I'm done. I don't want to talk about Roman Reigns anymore. I don't.
All right.
I don't. Because he's like, whatever. He's going to be the champion. He's going to beat Brock at SummerSlam.
If it happens.
It'll happen. It'll happen. And like, whatever. Who cares? It's just, the WWE's going to do what the WWE does. I don't have to like it, but it's just going to be what it is. I'm ending this pre-show because John has upset me about Roman Reigns. Any final questions here? Rob says AJ's phenomenal enough to be champ despite having soccer mom hair. That's true. That's true. AJ's great.
No question.
Antoinette's saying she's hearing it's going to be Lashley against Lesnar if Lesnar's at SummerSlam. I don't know about that.
It should be. But I don't know about that either.
Rob, I think, sums it up well. They're just too hard-headed with Roman. While he's likely a good worker, he's a terrible promo and he's got about 4 moves. His promos aren't great. His matches aren't that exciting. They're really not exciting at all. He doesn't do anything special. And they've just shoved him down our throats for so long that people are never going to really accept him. And Wally wants to know, if France don't win, who wins the World Cup? I'll go with England.
For Andy. That's nice.
If France doesn't win, England will win the World Cup. All right? That's it. That's the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Rob, Antoinette, Wally, Andy, Sasha, and then some. It was more, right?
I'm sure AJ eventually. I'm sure
Mike,
he'll talk about it.
Andy, I mentioned. AJ, I'm sure, is out there somewhere. So everybody watching and listening, thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tonight here, or I'll see you again tonight for Ringside Report Radio and then for Wrestling Uncensored. Yep.